Let's take some more roots. So right here we have plus and minus the square root of 16y to the fourth. Well, since we want both positive and negative answers, we know our answer is going to be both positive and negative. We know the square root of 16. The square root of 16 is 4. And we know the square root, we're talking about an index of 2, and we have the ability, we've talked about before, we can take the exponent, divide it by the index. 4 divided by 2 gives me 2y's with no remainder. And if I have no remainder, I don't have to put anything inside of my radical sign. So that would be our first answer. Moving on to B, we have a negative out in front, so I know my answer is going to have a negative. I know I'm going to leave that out in the front. We're still taking a square root, but this always seems to confuse people. X squared minus 6 in parentheses being raised to the 8th power. Here's my suggestion. I would change that x squared minus 6. That's just something being raised to a power. Let's call that u. If we call that u, then our entire problem is really negative square root of u to the 8th. And that's not a big deal. U to the 8th power, we know we're taking the square root. 8 divided by 2 is 4, so this is really just negative u to the 4th power. 8 divided by 2 is 4 with no remainders. Nothing needs to stay under the radical sign. But of course we don't want u in our answer. We want this x squared minus 6. So our answer is a negative x squared minus 6 raised to the 4th power. Moving on. Letter C, well, I've got the 5th root of all of this stuff. Well, the 5th root of 243, if we break down 243, it's 81 times 3. 81 is 9 times 9. 9 is a bunch of 3's. So 243 is actually 3 to the 5th power. So I'm taking the 5th root of 3 to the 5th power, a to the 20th, b to the 25th. Look at that. And now I can simplify all this down. The 5th root of 3 to the 5th power. 5 divided by 5 gives me 1. I just have 1 3 with nothing left on the inside. A to the 20th. 20 divided by 5 is 4 with no remainder, so nothing stays on the inside. B to the 25th. 25 divided by 5 is 5 with no remainder, and if there's no remainder, nothing stays on the inside. Finally, let's take a look at D. D, the first thing I notice, square root of a negative. The square root of a negative is I. Our answer must have I in it. The square root of 16, 4. The square root of x to the 4th power, 4 divided by 2 gives me 2 with a remainder of nothing. 8 divided by 2 gives me 4 with a remainder of nothing. And so I've taken the square root. The square root's gone. There was no remainders. So I don't have to leave anything in the radical. And I'm just going to rewrite this so it looks a little bit better. This is going to be both positive and negative. 4i x squared y to the 4th power. That's taking some more roots.